Imagine a once glamorous Mediterranean resort city, a jewel of the Mediterranean now eerily abandoned for 5 decades. This is Varosha, a place where time abruptly stopped in 1974. Its luxurious hotels, bustling shops, and vibrant homes stand frozen in time, decaying silently behind fences, all strictly forbidden to visitors. For 50 long years, this entire city has remained a haunting ghost town. The question at the heart of our story is simple yet profound. Why has this Mediterranean paradise been left to crumble for so long? To truly grasp the profound tragedy of Varosha, we must first journey back in time to its golden era, a period of unparalleled glamour and prosperity. Transport yourself to the early 90s. This wasn't just hyperbole. Varosha genuinely sparkled, attracting an international clientele drawn to its exquisite beauty and sophisticated allure. The city boasted an array of luxurious hotels, architectural marvels that lined its pristine golden sand beaches. Imagine towering resorts like the Argo Hotel, the Florida Hotel, and the Golden Sands, each offering unparalleled comfort and breathtaking views of the azure Mediterranean Sea. These establishments were not just places to sleep, they were destinations in themselves, featuring opulent lobbies, gourmet restaurants, sparkling swimming pools. Guests could indulge in every conceivable luxury, from fine dining and bespoke services to vibrant entertainment options that lasted well into the night. The very air in Varosha during these years hummed with an intoxicating blend of leisure, excitement, and exclusivity. Varosha's natural beauty was undeniably a major draw. Its beaches were renowned for their soft golden sands and crystal clear warm waters, perfect for swimming, sunbathing, and a myriad of water sports. The Mediterranean sun kissed the skin of thousands of vacationers each year, who flocked to this idyllic paradise seeking relaxation and rejuvenation. But beyond its natural splendor, Varosha offered a vibrant nightlife that was second to none. The city teemed with chic bars, bustling discotheques, and elegant casinos, where visitors could dance the night away, try their luck at the tables, or simply enjoy a cocktail under the stars. The energy was palpable, a constant celebration of life and luxury. It was this irresistible combination of natural beauty, lavish amenities, and a lively social scene that transformed Varosha into a magnet for the rich and famous. Hollywood royalty and international jet-setters flocked to its shores, making it a true playground for the stars. Legendary figures such as Elizabeth Taylor, known for her captivating beauty, and her equally famous husband, Richard Burton, were frequent visitors enjoying the privacy and glamour that Varosha afforded. The stunning Raquel Welch, with her iconic presence, and the French siren Brigitte Bardot, also graced Varosha's beaches and establishments, adding to its mystique and allure. Their presence cemented Varosha's reputation as a sophisticated haven, a place where one could rub shoulders with celebrities and experience the pinnacle of Mediterranean luxury. The city's growth during this period was nothing short of phenomenal, driven by an insatiable demand for its unique blend of charm and luxury. Varosha experienced rapid development. New high-rising buildings and hotels seemed to emerge almost overnight, each designed to cater to the ever-increasing tide of tourism. The skyline transformed, reflecting the city's burgeoning prosperity and its ambition to remain at the forefront of international tourism. This rapid expansion wasn't just about constructing buildings, it was about building a dream, a vision of a perfect holiday destination that seemed destined for an endless future of success and glamour. Varosha was a city in its prime, a vibrant testament to human ingenuity and the pursuit of pleasure, a place where every day felt like a celebration, utterly unaware of the abrupt and devastating fate that lay just around the corner. Its golden era was a dazzling spectacle, a stark and poignant contrast to the silence that would soon descend upon its streets. The dazzling prosperity of Varosha, a city that seemed destined for an endless summer, came to an abrupt and devastating halt in the summer of 1974. The transition from a vibrant, celebrity-filled haven to a desolate ghost town was not gradual, but a sudden, violent rupture, born from decades of simmering ethnic tensions that finally boiled over. To comprehend the tragic fate of Varosha, one must understand the complex and often painful history of Cyprus itself. For centuries, Cyprus had been a crossroads of civilizations, a strategic island coveted by various empires. By the mid-20th century, the island was a British colony, but its population was divided between two main communities: the Greek Cypriots, who constituted the majority and largely sought unification with Greece, and the Turkish Cypriots, a significant minority who feared such a union and advocated for either partition or continued British rule. When Cyprus gained its independence in 1960, a complex constitution was established, designed to balance the interests of both communities and prevent either enosis, or union with Greece, or taksim, partition. However, this delicate balance proved incredibly fragile. Throughout the 1960s and early 1970s, the island was plagued by intercommunal violence and political instability. Efforts to amend the constitution often led to clashes, and the presence of guarantor powers, Greece, Turkey, and the United Kingdom only added layers of international complexity to the internal dispute. The political climate grew increasingly volatile, with nationalist sentiments on both sides reaching a fever pitch. This tense backdrop set the stage for the catastrophic events of 1974. On July 15, 1974, a Greek-backed military coup d'etat overthrew the democratically elected president of Cyprus, Archbishop Makarios III. The coup leaders, intent on achieving enosis, installed a hardline nationalist government. Turkey, citing its role as a guarantee of power under the 1960 Treaty of Guarantee, viewed this coup as a direct threat to the safety and rights of the Turkish Cypriot community and a violation of the island's constitutional status. 5 days later, on July 20th, Turkey launched a military invasion codenamed Operation Attila, landing troops on the northern coast of Cyprus. The initial phase of the invasion saw Turkish forces secure a narrow corridor in the north. A ceasefire was declared and negotiations began, but these quickly broke down. On August 14, 1974, Turkey launched a second, larger offensive. This second phase of the invasion proved decisive and far more devastating, leading to the occupation of approximately 37% of the island's territory, including the entire district of Famagusta, where Varosha was located. As the Turkish forces advanced rapidly across the island, panic gripped the residents of Varosha. With the sounds of conflict drawing closer and fearing for their lives, the Greek Cypriot inhabitants, numbering around 40,000 people, made the agonizing decision to flee their homes. They left everything behind: their personal belongings, their businesses, their cherished memories, believing that their displacement would be temporary, a matter of days or weeks at most. They packed only what they could carry, expecting to return once the hostilities subsided. The idea that their beloved city would remain empty and inaccessible for half a century was utterly inconceivable to them at that moment of desperate flight. However, their hopes for a swift return were brutally dashed. Almost immediately after its capture, the Turkish military sealed off Varosha with barbed wire fences, transforming the bustling resort into a forbidden zone. Access was strictly prohibited to everyone, including its former residents. The once vibrant streets, the luxurious hotels, the bustling shops, and the family homes were now enclosed behind an impenetrable barrier, left to the mercy of time and the elements. The gates clanged shut, not for days but for decades, turning Varosha into a chilling monument to an unresolved conflict, a paradise lost in a single, fateful summer. The city that had once epitomized Mediterranean glamour became, overnight, a silent, desolate testament to the human cost of war and political division. Imagine stepping into a world where time ceased to move, where the hands of the clock stopped precisely in 1974. This is the chilling reality of Varosha today, a city frozen in an instant, preserved in a state of arrested decay for 50 long years. What was once a vibrant, bustling Mediterranean paradise is now an eerie, silent monument to a conflict that tore a nation apart. The physical state of Varosha is a stark and haunting tableau, a testament to the power of both human abandonment and nature's relentless reclamation. From beyond the barbed wire fences that have encircled it for half a century, Varosha presents a surreal and melancholic vista. The once gleaming high-rise hotels, which once housed movie stars and dignitaries, now stand as hollowed-out concrete skeletons. Their windows, shattered by time and weather, stare out like vacant eyes at the sea they once overlooked. Balconies, once adorned with vibrant flowers and sunbathers, are now crumbling. Their railings rusted and corroded. The salt-laden air from the Mediterranean, combined with decades of neglect, has relentlessly eaten away at the structures, leaving behind a landscape of faded grandeur and profound decay. Walking through what were once its bustling streets, if one were permitted, would be an experience of profound desolation. The asphalt is cracked and overgrown, swallowed by tenacious weeds and thorny bushes that push through the pavement. Streetlights, once illuminating lively promenades, are now broken and tilted, their wires dangling like forgotten vines. The elegant lampposts stand sentinel over empty avenues, where the only sounds are the rustling of leaves and the distant cry of gulls. The shops, which once displayed the latest fashions and luxury goods, offer a particularly poignant sight. In many storefronts, mannequins still stand, dressed in the outdated styles of the early 1970s, their plastic faces staring blankly into the gloom. Their clothes are faded, dusty, and often torn, providing a macabre fashion show for no audience. Display windows, thick with grime, reveal shelves still stocked with goods, forgotten souvenirs, dusty electronics, and even unopened cans of food, all preserved in a time capsule of consumerism abruptly halted. Cafes and restaurants still have tables and chairs overturned, perhaps from the hurried evacuation, or perhaps from the slow creep of decay. Menus, faded and brittle, might still be found on counters, advertising meals that will never be served. Nature, in its relentless indifference, has steadily reclaimed much of the city. What began as small cracks in the pavement has evolved into sprawling networks of routes, tearing apart foundations and pushing through walls. Trees, once confined to parks and gardens, now sprout from the roofs of buildings, their branches reaching skyward through gaping holes. Vines creep up the sides of hotels, engulfing entire facades in a verdant shroud. The once manicured lawns and vibrant flower beds have given way to an untamed wilderness, where wild grasses grow tall and indigenous flora thrives, creating a hauntingly beautiful, yet deeply unsettling landscape. This verdant takeover underscores the passage of time and the fragility of human constructs in the face of natural processes. The atmosphere within Varosha is often described as profoundly eerie. It is a place devoid of human sound, a silence broken only by the elements. The wind whispers through broken windows, creating ghostly melodies. The waves crash softly against the deserted beaches, a constant reminder of the sea that once brought life and joy. The absence of human activity has also allowed wildlife to flourish. Birds nest in abandoned buildings, and small animals roam freely through the overgrown streets, their presence a stark contrast to the human void. It is a city that feels both dead and alive, a paradox of decay and vibrant natural resurgence. For decades, access to Varosha was strictly limited. The entire area remained under the control of the Turkish military, with only occasional visits by United Nations personnel or, very rarely, journalists under strict supervision. This stringent control meant that the city was largely untouched by human interference, preserving its 1974 state with an almost archaeological precision. The fences and military patrols ensured that nothing was removed, nothing was repaired, and nothing was disturbed, intentionally or otherwise. This enforced isolation is precisely why Varosha remains such a unique and powerful example of a ghost city, a place where history is literally visible in every crumbling wall and every overgrown street. It stands as a silent, powerful testament to a moment in time, a city waiting, perhaps eternally, for its inhabitants to return. The haunting silence of Varosha is not merely a consequence of the 1974 invasion, but also a stark manifestation of complex international legal frameworks and an enduring political stalemate. The fate of this ghost city is inextricably linked to the broader Cyprus problem, a deep-seated geopolitical issue that has preoccupied the international community for decades. At the heart of this intricate web of diplomacy and dispute lies the consistent position of the United Nations. From the moment Varosha was sealed off, its status became a critical point of contention in the ongoing efforts to resolve the Cyprus conflict. The international community, primarily through the United Nations, swiftly recognized the unique and sensitive nature of Varosha, understanding that any unilateral action regarding its future could jeopardize broader peace efforts. This recognition culminated in a series of resolutions, the most pivotal of which is United Nations Security Council Resolution 550, adopted unanimously on May 11, 1984. United Nations Security Council Resolution 550 explicitly addresses the situation in Varosha. This landmark resolution unequivocally states that attempts to settle any part of Varosha by people other than its inhabitants as inadmissible. This declaration was a clear and forceful rejection of any efforts by the Turkish Cypriot authorities or Turkey to colonize or resettle the deserted city with individuals who were not its original Greek Cypriot residents. The resolution underscored the principle that the property rights of the original inhabitants must be respected and preserved. Furthermore, Resolution 550 went a crucial step further, calling for the transfer of Varosha to the administration of the United Nations. This provision aimed to create a neutral zone under international control, which could then facilitate the eventual return of its legitimate owners. The United Nations position on Varosha has remained remarkably consistent and unwavering since 1984. Successive Secretary Generals and numerous Security Council resolutions have reaffirmed the principles laid out in Resolution 550. The international body views Varosha not merely as a deserted city, but as a critical bargaining chip in any future reunification talks for the island of Cyprus. Its status is seen as a key component of a comprehensive settlement, and any actions that preempt or undermine this role are met with international condemnation. The United Nations maintains that the city should be returned to its original inhabitants under United Nations administration as part of a broader resolution to the Cyprus problem. This steadfast international stance is rooted in fundamental principles of international law, particularly those concerning the illegality of occupation and the protection of property rights for displaced populations. The Greek Cypriot community, supported by the international legal framework, views the properties in Varosha as rightfully belonging to their original owners. Any attempt to change the demographic character or ownership structure of Varoshas without a comprehensive political settlement is considered a violation of these principles and an obstacle to peace. The impact of this international legal framework has been profound. For decades, the United Nations resolutions have served as a powerful deterrent against any large-scale resettlement or development of Varosha by the Turkish Cypriot authorities. While the city has remained under the de facto control of the Turkish military, The clear international directives have largely prevented its integration into the Turkish Cypriot-administered north. This has contributed to Varosha's unique state of preservation, albeit a preservation born of enforced abandonment. The city remains a potent symbol of the unresolved conflict, a constant reminder of the human cost of division and the enduring quest for justice and return. Despite the clarity of the United Nations position, the implementation of Resolution 550 has remained elusive. The call for the transfer of Varosha to United Nations administration has never been fully realized, primarily due to the ongoing political deadlock between the Greek Cypriot and Turkish Cypriot sides, and the differing interpretations of the resolution by the parties involved. This stalemate highlights the limitations of international law when political will and mutual agreement are absent. Varosha, therefore, continues to exist in a legal and political limbo, a ghost city whose fate is held hostage by the complexities of international diplomacy and the deep-seated divisions that continue to plague Cyprus. Its future, despite clear international directives, remains uncertain, a testament to the enduring challenges of resolving protracted conflicts. For nearly 5 decades, Varosha remained an impenetrable fortress of silence, a city locked away behind barbed wire, its fate held in the balance of international diplomacy and unresolved conflict. The strict adherence to United Nations resolutions, particularly Resolution 550, had ensured its status as a ghost city, untouched by human hands since 1974. However, this long-standing status quo was dramatically challenged and irrevocably altered beginning in October 2020, when Turkish Cypriot authorities, with the explicit backing and support of Turkey, unilaterally decided to partially reopen parts of Varosha to visitors. This move sent shockwaves through the international community and reignited a fierce debate over the future of the abandoned city, and by extension, the entire Cyprus problem. The initial phase of the reopening involved allowing public access to a section of the coastline and a few streets within the fenced-off area. Visitors, both locals and tourists, were suddenly able to walk along the pristine beaches, cycle down deserted avenues, and gaze upon the decaying hotels and shops that had been frozen in time for so long. While presented by Turkish Cypriot authorities as a gesture of goodwill and an effort to breathe life back into the region, the decision was immediately met with widespread condemnation. The justifications offered by the Turkish Cypriot authorities for this controversial step were multifaceted. Primarily, they cited economic reasons, arguing that opening Varosha would contribute to the local economy of the Turkish Cypriot-administered north, generating much-needed revenue through tourism. They also framed the move as an act of transparency, an invitation for the world to witness the city's state and to understand their perspective on its future. Crucially, they also announced a mechanism for the original Greek Cypriot owners to apply for the return of their properties through the Immovable Property Commission, IPPC, a body established in the Turkish Cypriot administered area to address property claims. This was presented as a means of upholding property rights and rectifying past injustices, albeit under Turkish Cypriot jurisdiction. However, these justifications failed to assuage the deep concerns of the international community. The United Nations, the European Union, and the Greek Cypriot authorities were unequivocal in their condemnation of the partial reopening. The UN Security Council, reaffirming its previous resolutions, reiterated that any attempts to settle any part of Varosha by people other than its inhabitants are inadmissible, and expressed deep concern over the actions, calling for their reversal. They emphasized that the status of Varosha should be resolved within the framework of a comprehensive settlement of the Cyprus issue, not through unilateral actions. The European Union, to which the Republic of Cyprus is a full member, also voiced strong disapproval. They viewed the reopening as a serious violation of international law and a direct contravention of UN Security Council resolutions. The EU stressed that the actions undermined efforts to build trust and confidence between the two communities on the island and complicated prospects for a lasting solution. High Representative Josep Borrell stated that the EU considered the move to be a serious violation of the relevant UN Security Council resolutions and a clear setback for efforts to resume negotiations on a comprehensive settlement of the Cyprus problem. For the Greek Cypriot authorities, the reopening was seen as a provocative and illegal act, a blatant disregard for international law and the property rights of their displaced citizens. They argued that the IPC, operating under the de facto administration, could not provide a legitimate or just process for property return, as it would imply recognition of the Turkish Cypriot administration. They viewed the move as an attempt to create new fates accomplis on the ground, further entrenching the division of the island and making a future reunification even more difficult. The Greek Cypriot government emphasized that the only acceptable solution for Varosha was its return to its legitimate inhabitants under UN administration, as stipulated by Resolution 500. The controversial partial reopening of Varosha has thus transformed the ghost city from a symbol of frozen conflict into a flashpoint of renewed tension. It has highlighted the enduring chasm between the parties involved and the fragility of international efforts to maintain peace and facilitate a resolution. While offering a glimpse into the past for curious visitors, it has simultaneously deepened the political deadlock, further complicating the already intricate path towards a reunited Cyprus, and leaving the ultimate fate of Varosha more uncertain than ever. Beyond the legal pronouncements and political maneuvers, the story of Varosha is, at its heart, a deeply human one. It is the story of 40,000 Greek Cypriot individuals who in the summer of 1974 were forced to abandon their homes, their businesses, and their entire way of life, believing their absence would be temporary. 50 years later, the emotional scars of that sudden displacement remain raw, passed down through generations, making Varosha a poignant symbol of loss, longing, and an enduring hope for return. For the former residents of Varosha, the city is not merely a collection of decaying buildings. It is the repository of their memories, their heritage, and their identity. It represents childhood spent on sun-drenched beaches, the bustling energy of their businesses, the warmth of family gatherings, and the vibrant tapestry of a close-knit community. To them, Varosha is home, and the inability to return has created a profound sense of injustice and perpetual exile. Many, now elderly, yearn for the chance to walk their old streets one last time, to see the houses where they grew up, and to reclaim a piece of their stolen past. Their hope for return, though often tempered by decades of disappointment, remains a powerful force, fueled by international law and the conviction that justice will eventually prevail. This human element is inextricably linked to the ongoing political deadlock that has plagued the Cyprus conflict for half a century. Varosha stands as a stark physical manifestation of this unresolved division, a constant reminder of the human cost of political failure. Every crumbling hotel and every overgrown garden whispers tales of a life abruptly interrupted, serving as a powerful symbol of the island's partition. The recent partial reopening, as discussed in the previous chapter, has only intensified these emotions, stirring both renewed hope and profound frustration among the displaced, as it simultaneously offers a glimpse of their former home, while solidifying its control under an administration they do not recognize. The future prospects for Varosha are as varied and complex as the opinions surrounding the broader Cyprus problem itself. There are several key perspectives on what should become of the ghost city. Firstly, the full return to the original inhabitants remains the primary demand of the Greek Cypriot community and is supported by United Nations Security Council Resolution 550. This vision entails Varosha being placed under United Nations administration, followed by the systematic restoration of properties and the eventual repopulation by its legitimate owners. Opponents argue that this is the only just and lawful solution, upholding property rights and rectifying the historical injustice of the displacement. They envision a revitalized Varosha, once again a thriving resort city, but this time, a symbol of reunification and peace. Secondly, the further development under Turkish Cypriot control is the direction advocated by the Turkish Cypriot authorities, with the strong backing of Turkey. Following the partial reopening, there have been discussions about fully integrating Varosha into the economy of the Turkish Cypriot-administered north. This approach often includes mechanisms for original owners to apply for compensation or alternative properties through the Immovable Property Commission, IPC. However, Greek Cypriots largely reject this, viewing the IPC as an illegitimate body and any such development as a further entrenchment of the division and a violation of international law. This path would fundamentally alter Varosha's demographic and ownership structure, making a return to the pre-1974 status quo virtually impossible. A third possibility, often discussed in the context of broad peace negotiations, is for Varosha to become a special economic zone or an internationally administered city. This could involve a unique status that allows for its development and utilization for the benefit of both communities, potentially under joint administration or international oversight. Such a model would aim to bypass some of the political sensitivities by creating a neutral space, though the specifics of property rights and security would still need to be meticulously negotiated. The complexities involved in any of these scenarios are immense. Legal challenges regarding property ownership, the practicalities of rebuilding a city that has decayed for half a century, the economic investment required, and the deeply entrenched political divisions all present formidable obstacles. Security guarantees, political recognition, and the overall framework of a comprehensive settlement for Cyprus are inextricably linked to Varosha's fate. Ultimately, Varosha's future remains suspended in a delicate balance, a poignant reflection of the broader Cyprus conflict's unresolved nature. It stands as a powerful testament to the enduring human desire for justice, for home, and for the restoration of what was lost. Until a comprehensive political solution is found for the entire island, Varosha will likely continue to exist in this state of limbo, a ghost city awaiting its destiny, forever echoing the human cost of division. Varosha, once the glittering jewel of the Mediterranean, stands today as a haunting testament to a moment frozen in time. Its tragic transformation from a vibrant resort to a desolate ghost city in 1974 encapsulates the profound human cost of the Cyprus conflict. For 50 years, decaying hotels and silent streets have echoed the unresolved ethnic tensions and political deadlock that plague the island. Despite clear international mandates for its return to its original inhabitants and recent controversial partial reopenings, Varosha remains a powerful symbol of a glorious past suspended in an uncertain future. Its fate is inextricably linked to the broader quest for peace and reunification in Cyprus. What do you believe is the most just and viable path forward for this city and for the island it represents? What do you think about this video? Drop a comment down below, and if you've enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and help us grow the community. Thanks for watching.